Now let's talk about the preclinical phase. The drug itself is quetiapine fumarate. It's a psychotropic agent belonging to the dibenzothiazepine derivatives. You can see the chemical structure and the chemical name here. It's a white powder, moderately soluble in water. Its mechanism of action is still unknown, but they propose that its mood stabilizing properties are related to the dopamine type and serotonin type antagonism. As for many drugs, this drug also has an effect on other receptors like histamine and adrenergic receptors. These can cause side effects like somnolence or orthostatic hypotension. On the next slide you can see the pharmacodynamic values on many receptors. The D1, D2 and HT1 and 2 are the important for the good effects against schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. The IC50 values are pretty okay. It has also an effect on alpha and H receptors as well, you can see. So this caused the previously mentioned side effects like somnolence and hypotension. On the last two rows you can see that it has practically no effect on muscarinic and benzodiazepine receptors, as some typical antipsychotics like chlorpromazine have. So, and this effect can cause serious side effects like tremors, Parkinsonism and so on. But luckily this quetiapine doesn't show any effects on these receptors. So these atypical antipsychotics are like cleaner drugs, as they usually mention it. On the next slide are the toxicity and efficacy values. Many studies were performed on many animal models. They conducted carcinogenicity studies on mice and rats. There were no clinical signs. Impairment of fertility studies on rats, no effect as well. Toxicology, they conducted these on mice, rats and dogs. You can see the LD50 values on the right. They seem pretty okay. Chronic toxicity on monkeys, there were no effects. They found two effects though, what can have a significant effect on humans: thyroid gland toxicity in rats and eye toxicity in dogs. But later in human studies these side effects were not really great. I mean, it didn't have any effect on the approval of the drug, but on the animal models these effects were significant, enough to mention it on the documents. And also the efficacy values are here on monkey, rat, mouse and cats. These values are pretty low, just a few milligrams per body kilogram. Maybe on mouse it's a bit higher, but on monkeys and rats and cats these were pretty low, enough to conduct further studies with humans in phase 1, 2 and 3 studies. The drug comes in tablet form in different sizes, from 25 to 400 milligrams sizes, and its dosage is twice a day orally. First 25-50 milligrams and then for 4 or 5 days continuously, totaling 400-500 milligrams. There is an extended release version of the Seroquel, what has a patent until 2017. From this it's enough to take one per day. The pharmacokinetics, it reaches peak plasma concentration in 1.5 hours. Its half-life is 6 hours, and most of it is bound to human serum albumin in the plasma. Metabolism is in liver by cytochrome P450, and it metabolizes mainly to the pharmacologically inactive sulfoxide and acid metabolites, and to the active, metabolically active or pharmacologically active N-desalkyl metabolite. And its excretion is mostly renal, but also parts fecally.